There we go. Had a little dust on it, my bad. Oh, yeah. Hello and welcome. And I see professors already joining us right off the bat. What is this? What is this? Let me probably want to turn that down just a little bit. Okay, hang on. There we go. Hell yeah. Oh. All right. I'll bring you in. There you go.
Hello.
Hey, what's good, Professor?
Another day in paradise, man.
I could tell. Bro, I almost died laughing at work earlier when you sent me that message. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like I straight up thought you were like you were going to be able to join the clan and everything. I was like, oh shit, he got his internet on and everything. I was like, hell yeah. No. I completely misinterpret what your message says. That was horrible. But it was hilarious.
I didn't word it in the greatest way either, though.
Well,
I didn't say what I meant.
Right. But at the same time, I was just like, man, I feel like an idiot now. Shit. So, okay. Give me, I gotta do my little routine, you know.
Do your routine.
Yeah. Gotta get the damn thumbnails set up and all that. I was trying some other new methods and I don't know if I want to just for like the show itself, it should be just something like I just keep it simple and repetitive. I don't know. I've been kind of messing around, or should I, do what everybody else is doing?
Be yourself is what my fiance says.
That makes sense. Thank you. Okay. Let me, no. You see, I do know that there's a way that you could do this with, like, you can have it already set up if you do like a scheduling. But bro, I had so much trouble the first time I tried that. It was like every time I tried and I was trying to go live, it would literally crash my OBS. It was like, what the fuck? So I have to do it the long route to get everything, like, go ahead and go start streaming and then get everything finally set up on my phone.
I don't know.
So some days it don't take that long. It takes me within like 5 minutes. Other days it could take me like 10-15 minutes before the video actually starts popping up so I can grab it. Yeah, it's a learning process like crazy. But that's alright. We're here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. There. Now I made it pretty for all the newcomers. Hell yeah. And I think YouTube is starting to show me a little bit of love. Just a little bit, just a little.
Just a tiny bit.
Yeah. I learned not to do a podcast and chill anymore. Not until I have like a constant of, people who just listen and lurk in the background or something like that. And not until I actually start building a base, or I have a base, then I can start doing those. But
well,
yeah.
I don't know what my audio sounds like coming through my phone. I don't know if it sounds shit here, so I'm gonna try this headset out.
Yeah, go ahead.
And see if that sounds a little bit better. God, my cord's all tangled. Oh, Jesus.
Well, after listening, like, sometimes I'll go back and listen, like, the past broadcasts. Like, everybody I've had on so far sounded just fine. Like, I haven't had any issues. The only issues I've ever found was getting them set up so that I can hear them in the first place. Or, like, what we've had with you, where you've, like, timed out and then they just cut you off. They're just like, nope, no more, you done.
How about that? How's that sound?
On my end, that sounds actually pretty good.
Yeah, this is my my Astro A10s that I bought a while back as a little replacement headset when my old one broke. But they're the only ones that are actually corded that I can use on my phone.
Hell yeah. All right. I guess I don't know if it was just because you saw me got a notification from me, or
I want to argue with you. I saw the title.
You saw the title, huh?
Shot.
Yeah. I seen okay, let me give you some dialogue on how it came about. You see, I've been arguing this for a long time. I think that in certain aspects, yes, bows should be able to one tap in Crucible. Pretty similar to, like how snipers do. And then some people, then it started formulating because somebody pointed out, well, let's make, like, because they were complaining about Le Monarch being like unlimited ammo, and then someone said, well, let's give it, special ammo. And I was like, ooh, okay, give it special ammo. So, but make it one shot crit. One shot crit.
That was my first thought, is maybe some bows, Wishender. Just saying. Wishender.
I can see that. But not all bows.
Maybe they should, maybe a couple of bows should be kicked up to special ammo and, have the ability to one shot.
Well, anything that's energy, like energy bows. Like if they have like solar stasis, whatever, that they can run special.
We have kinetic snipers, that they're special ammo. So I don't see why, like Wishender's a kinetic bow. I don't see why it shouldn't be able to,
Well, then they would have to restructure bows altogether, because even kinetic bows that they're in the kinetic slot, that they don't do shit, like, unless it's more of just a pairing, like it's more to pair it with something. Like, I like to run bow and hand cannon, but
so my thing is, if they took any amount of bows in the game and made them able to one shot, minus the heavy bow, and it can already one shot, but you got to pick up heavy for that, so completely out of the conversation on that one. But I think any other bows, if they decided to kick them up to a one shot capability, then comes the issue of aim assist, because we've had so many issues with bullet magnetism and aim assist with snipers. Snipers have gotten a lot of nerfs on that end of things, and the one big thing bows have going for them is their bullet magnetism and aim assist.
Right.
And so in order to give them that one shot capability, I can be 3 feet off of somebody's head in Crucible across the map and still hit a headshot on them with most bows.
Yeah.
Because the bullet magnetism is, that crazy on bows. So then for any bows that they do make, they do give that one shot capability in Crucible, their aim assist and bullet magnetism would have to be so low that the skill curve for it is super steep.
Right.
And as we've seen in the past, Bungie has a hard time balancing Crucible separately from PvE.
Well, as of late,
Again, yeah, I haven't played in a while.
I
So
mean, they have been doing a lot better when it comes to doing like trying to balance things between PvP and PvE to be able to eliminate the whole, you know, if it's nerfed for PvP, then it's just nerfed altogether. You know, we're not having to see that as much these days. Now, in a lot of aspects, yes, it still affects one and the other, but we're starting to see, you know, a change. It's not like how it used to be.
Right.
You know, the classic Bungie of what we do remember when they made sandbox changes. I mean, that's kind of, I mean, like even right now, excuse me, even right now in the Crucible, I mean, the meta is pretty open. You know, I mean, it's not really like one section of like what you would call meta.
The last time I played, that's kind of how it was. You know, there are auto rifles that excel, there are SMGs that excel, there's even sidearms that are pretty good in Crucible sometimes.
Right.
I think the big issue with making it any amount of bows in the game one-shot capable is toning down the bullet magnetism on them so hard that they would be extremely difficult to use, especially for people that use a controller. I kind of
wonder, like, if the bullet magnetism really affects the arrow as it does the bow at the same time, because you think there's different mechanics to than what you would see like with a sniper rifle. Basically, you just hit a button and there goes your bullet. But with this, you actually have to draw it back and then release.
Yeah, you have the draw on the bow, and different bows have different draw times, and as opposed to other weapons in the game, they're not hit scan weapons. Their projectiles actually have travel time. You know, sniper rifles are hit scans. If you hit somebody, you hit somebody. If your reticle is on their head, 9 times out of 10 you'll hit.
Right.
Minus, you know, lag and latency and everything else, you know. I still think the bullet magnetism is an issue because it's something observable in the game. You can go onto the longest sight line in PvP and you can fire a bow at somebody after you drag your reticle off of them for half a second, and you can watch that arrow curve through the air and still hit them.
Well, if you see it with the Tiku's divination, yeah, because they got tracking arrows, but I don't think just like regular bows. Like regular bows don't really track like that. I'm serious, man. Yeah, you may think that I'm crazy on that, but it's a thing. Since bows were added to the game, the bullet magnetism on them is pretty crazy. You know, if somebody's standing still and you move your reticle just a little bit, that bullet magnetism, your arrow is still gonna hit them. But you know, if they're running around, or you know, strafing back and forth a lot, it's not as bad. It's the bullet magnetism in PvE is way higher than it is in PvP, but I still think that adding one-shot headshot capability to bows adds that. You know, they'll have to do something with the bullet magnetism or aim assist or whatever you want to call it, so that
you actually have to be on point and hit your shots.
Well, right. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that, oh, well,
I'm not saying
the bows should remain the way they are,
No.
but make them capable of one-shot crit. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that they should, and whatever comes with it. Like, I even suggested toning down the draw time to make it draw slower. So if I gotta have a longer draw time, and maybe it depends on what it is, like maybe combat bows, maybe they have a slower draw time, and
I don't know what frame Wishinder technically is, but I think if they made any of the bows in the game one-shot capable, I think Wishinder should be up there on that list.
Well, number one, yeah, but I mean, the only other bow I could, only one bow can actually do it consistently, anyways, and that's Leviathan's Breath. That's the only bow. That's a heavy bow too. So
it's a heavy weapon. So
that makes sense.
I kind of expect if I pick up heavy ammo, unless it's a machine gun, I expect my heavy weapon to one-shot somebody.
Right.
Assuming I hit my shots, if I shoot a grenade launcher at somebody and it lands like 4 feet away from them, I don't expect that to one-hit them, but if I hit them dead on, I expect that heavy ammo to kill them. So, same with Leviathan's Breath, I expect that to one-shot somebody if I hit them in the head with it.
Well, of course.
Well, and even on that note, it's got such a long draw time on it that I believe Leviathan's Breath should one hit to the body no matter what your resilience is.
For the most of the time, like I like using Leviathan's Breath if I was going into like Gambit, going against, invaders or whatever, and it one shots every time. Like sometimes I get good enough and sometimes I can impact some damage on the guardians next to them so that they're even lower health. So, but I mean, it's already kind of there.
Yeah,
but let's say like Low Monarch, I mean, I see it, like I kind of fell in love with the idea when we would play like Momentum Control, that, and I would just run Low Monarch, which I'm surprised that people are like so big about Low Monarch all of a sudden now, when it's been around this whole time.
It's been good for a fat minute,
but nobody really used it, not like to the scope of what it is now, especially going through trials. It actually carried me to the lighthouse. Like for the first time when I went the first time, I actually was able to go to the lighthouse with a bow and a hand cannon, and that was like my dream. But that was when Bungie made all those changes and there was a lot more people playing trials.
Right, and just to hop off topic for half a second, I still think that there's a lot of changes that they need to make to the trials matchmaking system.
Well, we can make that another talk for tomorrow, or maybe tomorrow or something like that.
Yeah. Just wanted to toss that thought out there for a second, give the people something to chew on for a second.
Right.
I think that a lot of people will still agree, minus the people that go flawless, 12 times a weekend. I think the majority of the player base still thinks that there's a lot that can be fixed with trials. But back to the bows. I don't know how many bows are still usable in the game, because I know all the legendary ones that were added with Forsaken are no longer usable.
Well, like the my favorite bow that I used to run, the I can't even think of the damn name. It was like my favorite bow. It was the one that you were able to start getting, the combat bow, almost at the very beginning, it was the void one.
Yeah,
And I had like, I think so. It's like when you got your first one.
Yeah.
No, that was the kinetic one.
Was it?
I think that was the kinetic one.
I don't remember all of them, honestly. There weren't that many that were added, but it's been so long since I played through Forsaken that I really couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I mean, they got new bows in, which, you know, I'm really happy about. I just wish Bungie would give bows a little more love over here.
Right.
I mean, they're fun weapons to play with. They really are.
Yeah, I think bows. I think, like you said earlier, bows aren't a very good standalone weapon. There are plenty of auto rifles, plenty of SMGs, plenty of sidearms that are really good standalone weapons.
Right.
But, sorry, I had to die for a second.
So, Subtle's Calamity, the Calamity bow. That's the one I was thinking of. But
yeah, Subtle Calamity, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that bows haven't really found their footing yet, for lack of better terms. I think that's the way I would word it, is they really haven't found their footing in the meta. They're not a very good standalone weapon. Really the only viable strategy to use a bow is to have, you know, a fusion rifle or a hand cannon, you know, something with a little bit more range on it that you can follow up with and get that kill. Or vice versa, a weapon that you can use and get them low and then follow up with the bow. The bows aren't a very good standalone weapon. Plenty of hand cannons in the game. I can just kill people with the hand cannon. I don't have to worry about swapping to something else. You know, I can outgun them as long as I hit my shots. Plenty of auto rifles, plenty of SMGs, plenty of sidearms, but bows don't have a standalone place in the meta yet. And I think adding one-shot capabilities to some of the bows, or even adding new bows in that are special
that have
bows,
that have that capability, I think they should.
Yeah.
Like, maybe not change the ones that we have now, but if they want to introduce new ones, I can live with that.
I think of the existing bows, the only one that I would put up to give one-shot capabilities would be Wishender. Because Wishender has such a long draw time on it, longer than every other bow than Leviathan's Breath, I believe. It's got such a long draw time associated with it. Not being able to one-shot somebody really puts it pretty far down the list on bows you would want to use in Crucible. I think that's the only one. Le Monarch, I don't think needs it, because it already comes with really strong, you know, crowd control capabilities. Same with Trinity Ghoul. It already has really strong crowd control capabilities. I don't think any of the other existing bows in my mind would be up for one-shot capabilities besides
so it boils down to maybe if they want to introduce bows that take special ammo and have that capability to one-shot grid. I'm not suggesting one-shot body. I'm saying one-shot crit.
Headshot.
Yeah.
One-shot headshot.
Yes.
I think there's a place for bows that can do that in the meta. I believe that they should be special weapons, special ammo weapons. And I think really the best way for them to go would be to add new bows into the game some way. Like I said, the only one that currently exists in the game that I would, you know, be up to giving one-shot capabilities to would be Wishender.
Wishender, yeah. But wouldn't you feel like that would be too overpowered for the fact that you got little wall hacks with that bow?
But it's not. So the hunters have oath keepers, right? Oath keepers let you draw a bow and keep it drawn indefinitely.
Yes.
But if you have Wishender and you have oath keepers on, the Wishender perk that lets you see through Queen's Wrath, that lets you see through walls, isn't an indefinite thing anymore, because that's one of the first things that they had to change after the Oath Keepers came out, because it made Wishender super powerful to be just as an information tool to be able to see through walls and see where people were.
So did they really do that? Really?
Yeah, it's got a time. It's got like a timer associated with it.
Man, I must have missed that. I must have missed that.
Or you can only see people through walls when you're aimed down sights, and as you know, aiming down sights with Wishender limits your peripheral vision so much you can get shit on from any other angle.
Huh. Damn.
But it's one of the two. It's either on a timer or it only works when you aim down sights now. Just because they added Oath Keepers into the game, they didn't want a weapon that people could walk around with the bow drawn and see through walls indefinitely.
Right.
Because that was a big issue in competitive, because Trials wasn't in the game yet. It was a big issue in competitive where they would have one person with Wishender with Oath Keepers on just chill and tell their teammates where the enemies were coming from. So they had to make a change so that, you know, it wasn't overpowered like that.
Yeah, you never see Wishender in Trials. I mean, I haven't.
Again, because it's got a long draw time. Oath Keepers doesn't let you see through. I'm pretty sure it's on a timer. I'm pretty sure that perk's on a timer now. I'm pretty sure you only get, like, it's no more than like 8 seconds that you get to see through walls.
Right.
And so, you know, yeah, you can see through walls, and adding a one-shot capability to a bow that can do that, like, that can seem overpowered, but its draw time brings it enough of a drawback that I think it would warrant it.
Right. I mean, I could understand if people don't want to see, like, let's say Tinku's divination, you just hip fire that damn thing, and if it happens to hit you in a crit, then it just automatically one-shots you. And I don't think that bow should be able to do that.
Tiku's divination shouldn't be able to. Like I said,
no, that
is the only currently existing bow that I think should be able to get one-shot capabilities if they did that.
Right. But if they don't want to make those kind of changes, maybe just bring in new ones that have that perk or something. Maybe they could make it a perk.
Or yeah, if they added a perk that just increased critical damage at the cost of, because there's plenty of perks in the game that, you know,
they have to sacrifice some in order to gain something.
A little bit of your stats on your weapon to get, you know, a buff somewhere else. And I think that would be a decent way to go with it. Just add bows in that, you know, have that perk. It either, you know, it decreases the draw time, or I guess it'd be increases the draw time. You know, it would increase how long it takes the bow to draw, or, you know, I wouldn't even say aim down sight speed, because bows are pretty pinpoint accurate hip firing if you have them fully drawn. You know, I think, you know, nerf the draw time a little bit for the ability to one-shot headshot. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe, you know, you could even take down the aim assist if you wanted to.
Yeah, or it just, you know, decreases accuracy is what it would say on the weapon, but it would, you know, decrease the aim assist or bullet magnetism, or, you know, whatever other stat is affecting how accurate bows are.
Right. I mean, I could live with that, but I think that would be really cool to see, hopefully, in the future. You know, to be able to have bows. I'm a bow nut anyways. Even though I didn't know that the fucking, oh god, I don't even use the bow anymore. I only know the ones that I play with. Wishender. Yeah. If it was the damn, I didn't even know if they put a timer on the Wishender's wall hack.
I'm
So
pretty sure. I'm pretty confident it's on a timer. Nobody quote me on that. I'm pretty confident it's on a timer though, because that was the big issue when Oathkeepers released, and it was only an issue for like a week or two before they put out a patch for it,
right.
because it was dominating competitive in Crucible.
Yeah, when people were going into comp. Yeah.
Yeah, it was nigh impossible to hit Legend in comp because that's the teams you would run into. They would just sit in the back with Oathkeepers and Wishender and just tell their teammates where you were.
Right.
So I know that there was a nerf to it in some sort of way. I'm pretty sure it's on a timer. But like I said, it's either that or only when you're aiming down sights.
Well, for those who are new around here, this basically I put up a starting topic. Basically, it's not going to be a topic that we just dance around the entire time, because we're going to find ourselves just repeating ourselves over and over and over again. But so usually we start with this topic, and then where we end up, that's where we end up. So I do want to get your opinion on, do you think that Bungie should give us more vault space?
I think we currently have 500 spaces in our vault, something like that.
Something like that.
I believe it's 500 spaces in your vault. If you're using all 500 spaces in your vault, you're doing something wrong. I understand, you know, cool loot, but if you have God, what's a current raid weapon, Arma? I don't even know what the
current raid weapon.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Well, let's see. There's the fucking. We got Vault of Glass.
Vault of Glass.
That's the most. Those are the most. That's the most current one.
What's a VOG weapon?
I know, like, the biggest one is the hand cannon.
Okay, so the Vault of Glass hand cannon, right?
Yeah, we'll just call it the Vault of Glass hand cannon.
I'm gonna look it up.
I haven't had the opportunity actually spending a whole lot, like, any time. Fatebringer, yeah.
Okay, Fatebringer.
I play Destiny, guys. I swear to you, okay? I'm just bad with names sometimes.
Say you've been grinding Vault of Glass. Say you've been grinding Templar to try to get your God roll Fatebringer, right?
Right.
There is absolutely no reason under the sun you should have 12 Fatebringers in your vault.
Well, it's not actually where I find myself having like 12 raid weapons. My problem is like the other weapons that I run with, or the ones that I'm grinding for, like for Season of the Lost weapons, whatever. And I'll try to find that happy medium or the God roll, you know, depending on whatever situation, and to try out some of the new perks. But I am at one of those who have filled my vault with multiples of the same weapon, that especially weapons I don't even plan on using. Like, I don't like using sniper rifles. But I guarantee I got
light players, right? So barring new light players, veterans of Destiny altogether, or even just veterans of Destiny 2, or even just people that, you know, have found their groove in Destiny, they know what their playstyle is. And it's not just Fatebringer or raid weapons, it's any weapon. Like, there's no reason you should have 6 or 8 or 12 copies of a weapon. You know what your playstyle is. You know how you like to play in PvP and PvE. I say like you only need like 2 or 3 of a weapon to, you know, suit the situation.
But at the same time, right now, like the way that they change up the sandbox, like I typically would prefer bow and hand cannon all the damn time. But now I find myself running like an auto rifle and a fusion rifle. Just because that's what the perks ask for. The current of my current artifact. And like the previous season before, it was a grenade launcher. I didn't really run with grenade launchers as much anymore. But I found myself running grenade launchers because breaching clear.
But your vault space, it's not just what I know, armor clogs up people's vault space too. You know, I know there's people out there that have like 30 exotic helmets in their vault, right?
Oh yeah,
a lot of them are like duplicate. Dude, I went through my vault. I cleared out a lot of my armor, my exotics and stuff, because especially when it comes to armor, if you have low stat armor, there's no reason you should be keeping it.
Right.
And I understand the appeal of wanting, you know, armor with high stat rules that are high in different areas. You know, you would want, you know, depending on the situation, you might want a chest piece that has high recovery and high intellect, or a chest piece that has high resilience and high mobility or something, you know, like, or high discipline and high resilience, you know, like, I know that there's different stat lineups that you want for different situations, but again, I don't think it's something where if you have filled up all 500 slots of your vault and you really think that you shouldn't get rid of any of that stuff in your vault, I think you have an issue at that point. Because Destiny is a looter shooter by definition. Loot being the main aspect of the game, getting cool shit. And that's why they keep adding new shit, so you can get new cool shit and don't have to use the old shit that isn't as cool anymore.
Right, yeah. And it seems like there seems to be a pattern now, like whatever, you know, when there's an opportunity to be had, when it, like whatever perk that they come out with that something does really cool with particular weapons, you know, there's that weapon that you can chase after.
Right. I think
my problem is, like, for me, for example, you know, because, you know, I try to only speak for myself and nobody else. But when it comes to me, I find myself where I'll like I said, I don't like playing sniper rifles.
Right.
But if I find one that I find that's like, oh, that's pretty good fucking roll, maybe I'll find myself to, you know, move up to trying it out one day. But it's not typically my type of playstyle I actually enjoy.
Right. I think so. Do I think it's necessary to increase the vault room? No, I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's something Bungie needs to do. I think there are a lot of people out there with some collector issues, and you know, they just collect shit. I think if Bungie really wanted to just squash that, you know, player base that wants to complain about it and bitch about not having enough vault space, I think the easiest thing for them to do, just double the vault space. Just, you know, nip it right in the bud. They don't have to worry about people complaining. And now you have 1,000 spaces in your vault.
Yeah, but eventually, over time, people will complain again. It'll take a little while, but people will still find a way.
Eventually, it's not something anyone in the player base wants to hear. Eventually, Bungie is going to sunset more weapons. It's going to happen. Because it's going to get to the point where there are so many weapons that players have that, you know, like currently I can think of like 3 or 4 or 5 auto rifles that are really good. But if you look a year from now, after Witch Clean launches, after all 4 seasons next year, who knows how many, you know, how many raids are going to come out, how many more auto rifles that they're going to add. And then you go from a situation where you have 4 or 5 really good auto rifles at the top of the meta to having 15 or 16 auto rifles that are competing for a top spot in the meta.
Right.
And so I think it's inevitable. Eventually, Bungie is gonna sunset more weapons, and that's not something people want to hear because, of course, you know, that's stuff that they spent time trying to get.
Yeah.
But I think once you know, like I said, all of like different players know their different play styles. And so once you get that God roll Fatebringer, it doesn't have to be the light.gg God roll stat thing, you know, like it doesn't, whatever your preferred role is, if you have 7 or 8 more Fatebringers sitting in your vault that you're never going to use, then they shouldn't be in there. Same with any other weapon or any other piece of armor. Once you get your God roll, you know, God rolled stat armor, all that armor that's sitting in your vault that you don't use anymore doesn't need to be in there. Especially with the way that they've added, you know, transmog and everything, and being able to change the look of your armor to basically any other armor in the game. You know, I don't see, like, there's no longer the argument for keeping armor because it looks cool.
Well, obviously, since we got transmog, so that being said, maybe the vault space won't be so much of a bad ordeal come Witch Queen for the fact that we're getting weapon crafting, where you can literally craft the weapon the way you see fit.
That, you know, that
like you could, if I
point.
find out that like you could do that 100% on all weapons, I'll literally sit there and clear out my entire vault of everything and just regrind to get that one gun, or unless if it's something that don't drop very often, then I might hold on to it. But I'm not getting rid of my midnight coup. Yeah, fuck you. That's my baby right there. I am not getting rid of my midnight coup, and I know I'm not the only one there.
I still have an inaugural address sitting in my vault that'll never go anywhere.
I got one of those as well. But
First raid weapon I ever got. That's, you know, keeping that till the end.
Midnight Coup was my baby for the longest time. All the way up to till it got sunset, basically, where you couldn't use it no more. Fuck.
Yeah, I don't, like I said, I don't think that there's a necessity for them to increase the vault space. I think that it's just, there's a lot of people in the player base that just need to come to terms with the fact that they don't need to keep every single thing that they get.
It's true.
You know, like I said, different players know what their play styles are. You know, they know what builds they like to run. I would say, for now, as of us having 4 different, you know, elements that you can have on your armor to use the different elemental mods, 4 of each armor piece. So what? Head, chest, boots, and class item. So you've got 4, 8, 12, 16. That's 16 slots out of your 500.
Yeah.
You know, there's no reason for somebody to have 200 different pieces of armor in their vault. And, you know, that's 16 per character because there are a lot of people that play all 3 characters. I can't talk on that fact because I only play one.
Well, I think a lot of people, they also, it's not really armor. It's actually, you know, weapon rolls and stuff.
And
Like
again,
there are a lot of people I would assume are a lot like the way I do things. You know, I hold on to possible roles because what if maybe next season this is going to be the meta or something. You know, this is going to be the hot ordeal weapon to take
but you
to
have to
be
think.
running
But
with.
you have to think every season. Yeah, there's been a couple of seasons where they've added some weapons that really weren't that great. But for the most part, when a new season comes out, the weapons that dominate the meta for a little while are the new weapons. They're the
Yeah.
ones that get the new perks. They're the ones that, you know, again, if you have 4 or 5 or 6 copies of an auto rifle, when next season rolls around and they drop a new auto rifle with new perks, it's not as necessary.
No.
Because now you have a new auto rifle to use with a new perk set. You don't need those 4 or 5 or 6 old auto rifles anymore. And again, like I was saying earlier, you know your playstyle. You know your personal playstyle, Arma. You know how you like to play in PvE. You know how you like to play in PvP. You only need, 2 or 3 weapons to fit those different playstyles. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I know you have a lot of weapons in your vault. I know that's what's taking up a lot of your vault space is a lot of weapons.
Yes, lots of weapons. I think
I'm sure-
I have like maybe barely a page for armor, but that's because I went and deleted a bunch of it. Like I found myself having copies of exotics
is
armor.
your
I'm
vault
like, I
full?
don't need this much.
Is your vault full?
No.
Okay, so your vault's full. So 500, you got like 1 page of armor. So you have 4 pages of weapons, right?
Maybe.
Exotic weapons? No reason you should. I mean, of course, if you're keeping them up to light level and you constantly change your exotic weapons,
Well, I don't.
You don't use every exotic weapon in the game. So if you have a ton of exotic weapons that you don't use, I guarantee you, out of those however many pages of weapons you have, I guarantee you there's a lot of weapons you don't use.
Well, it's not really exotic weapons that are filling up my vault.
It's a lot of legendaries, right?
Yeah, lots of legendaries, especially
So,
of weapons that like
Let's
I don't
just
think
say
I'm going
as
to
a-
use. It's just like a
let's
little bit of
say-
everything.
Let's say, as a for instance, I'm just going to throw out some arbitrary numbers. Say you only had 200 spaces in your vault, right? Say that 50 of those were armor, right? So you've got 150 weapons in your vault. You cannot tell me that you, on a regular basis, use each and every one of those 150 weapons.
Well,
I know you got a lot of free time, Arma, and I know you play,
I got so much
Destiny.
fucking free time. It's
I know you got a lot of free time. I know you play a lot of Destiny. But
yeah, I got all the
come
free
on,
time in the
man.
fucking world.
If we bump it back up to the original numbers, 500 slots, say 100 of them are armor, say 400 weapons in your vault, there's absolutely no way on a regular basis you use all 400 of those weapons.
Maybe not at once.
But in a week, you would use
All right, to
50?
give. Let's see. I mean, I have a lot of these exotics that, I built up to try out or whatever. Those ain't the problem. It's when I get to like, let's say, okay, the Rise Walker shotgun that you could get through the Iron Banner.
How many of those you have?
And I have what, 7 different ones of those. I had.
And so,
I know I deleted a lot of these cold fronts, but I had like 20 of them.
7 Reese Walkers. 7 Reese Walkers, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna tell me that in a week you use all 7 of those Reese Walkers?
No, of course not. 2,
I don't.
4,
I,
6, 8.
so,
I got
so why,
9 of the
so why do you have
Soros
7?
verse.
Why do you have 7 Reese Walkers if you don't?
Because
use all 7
I was gonna like evaluate them to see, you know, what might be a good enough weapon to hold on to. Cause it's good to have a variety of weapons to hold on.
When they launch a new raid shotgun or a new Iron Banner shotgun or a new Crucible shotgun or hell, even a new Vanguard or Gambit shotgun that is better than the Reese Walker, then what? You have 7 Reese Walkers taking up space in your vault that you're never going to use because now there's a better shotgun to use. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's the issue is that people hold on to things because they have that mindset that you have, that maybe it'll be good. Maybe this is, you know, this is the breakthrough weapon. This is the breakthrough perk set. This is, you know, this is the sleeper weapon right here that nobody knows about. But the likelihood of that being true is so low that there's no point in you holding on to 7 Reese Walkers or 9 cold fronts or, you know.
Well, it's not really that. It's more of like, okay, this seems to be a good roll and I will go back to it. I just need to take the time to go back, weed out the ones that are good roll, like maybe keep the very best roll that I have and just delete the rest and not even think about it. Then I would have at least one of each. Yeah, I may not, like even with the one pulse rifle, I really don't use pulse rifles all that much, but I'm still grinding them because you never know, I may decide to start using pulse rifles.
Right.
And if it's a weapon that you can no longer obtain because that part of the season or whatever is gone, so you can't get it no more, you know,
it's a matter of
memorabilia, you know, collector.
You know, yeah, you're a collector, but the issue is you need to go through that collection and those 7 Reese Walkers that you've had that you've had for God knows how long in your vault. Right?
Well,
yeah. See,
that's not even the bad ones.
That groan. I don't even want to hear about the bad ones. I'm gonna focus on the Reese Walker for now. Those 7 Reese Walkers that are sitting in there.
Oh, here's the Compass Rose last year's.
If you regularly want to use a Reese Walker shotgun, right? Then it's a matter of you just need to take the time to sit down and go through those 7 Reese Walkers and find out which one suits your playstyle the best.
What about the 6 Compass Rose shotguns that we got from last year's dawning? I got 6 of those.
Exactly. Again, you know, you need to find the role of that is, you know, it suits your playstyle the best. And then you need to like compare those two and be like, well, which one would I be more likely to use? Or, you know, if there's one that has a better role for PvE, you know, keep both of them. But you've got,
I got 10 heretics rocket launchers.
So you got 7 Reese Walkers. You said what? 6
Compass Rose. So and 10 heretics.
So right there, just in the Reese Walker and the Compass Rose, you have 13 shotguns.
Yeah.
You don't need 13 shotguns, my guy. And there's a lot of people out there like that have God knows how many weapons in their vault, and
but the funny part is we know that, but you never know. That's the point.
Honestly, when Bungie, again in my mind, Bungie is inevitably going to sunset more weapons. When Bungie inevitably sunsets that Compass Rose or that Reese Walker or those heretics, you're not going to need them anymore because they're going to be sunset and you're going to delete them anyways. So you may as well weed out the ones you're actually going to use and not use and get rid of the ones you're not going to use anyways.
Right, yeah.
Because that's legendary shards, that's weapon components, that's stuff you could have in your pocket right now, but it's sitting in your vault, unused, collecting dust.
Yes.
Collecting virtual dust, man. You're not using them, I'm sure you're not hurting on legendary shards like I am on my account, but I'm sure there's people out there that have max or almost max capacity on their vault that is just a bunch of weapons and armor that they don't use and are hurting for legendary shards or
but we want more vault space. I mean, truly for me, I really don't care. If we get it, we get it. If we don't, we don't. I know I need to go sort through my hoardness and clean up my mess, but
and it's not only, and you have the ability to tell yourself and come to the realization that you do need to go through it, but there's a lot of people in the community that are really vocal about wanting more vault space. Don't have, God, I don't want to sound like a dick saying it, but they don't have the brain capacity to accept that it's an issue and they don't need all of those weapons, and eventually they're going to be outmoded and outdated anyways. So why hold on to them? That's the way I look at it. That's the way I play the game. I don't have 4 million. I used to have a ton of weapons and a ton of armor in my vault, and I just deleted all of them because I don't use them anyways. All the weapons I use are in my inventory.
So you literally just wiped clean all your whole vault space?
Yeah. Minus the god roll weapons that I have. I have stuff in my vault still. But
and probably like weapons that are sunset, but they have sentimental value to you.
Yeah, like I said, my inaugural address, my first raid weapon I ever got, that's gonna sit in my vault until they remove it from the game.
Yeah, that's
the first raid weapon I ever got. Sure, it's not really usable anymore, but who gives a shit? That's that's sentimental value. That's the first raid weapon I ever got. I've got some weapons in my vault that I spent tens or maybe even hundreds of hours grinding trying to get god rolls up, and I finally got the god roll. That's gonna sit in my vault until they remove it from the game. But
it's just like I got the one auto rifle, got Rampage and Dragonfly. Oh my god,
the half a page of fucking cold fronts that I had, those got deleted. I don't need half a page of cold fronts.
I'm guilty of that. I deleted a lot of them, but
it's a matter of everybody that has that vault space issue just sitting down and actually going through their vault. I'm sure a lot of people out there that are complaining about their vault being full haven't gone through and just deleted the stuff they don't need anymore. I'm sure there's people out there that have full vaults that still have sunset weapons in their vault. I'm sure there's people with mountaintops and recluses and revokers sitting in their vault. And you don't need it taking up your vault space, man.
I ended up deleting those weapons anyway.
I did too, because they're not bad anymore. They're still as far as SMGs go, Recluse is still a really good SMG. And as far as special ammo grenade launchers go, Mountaintop is still pretty decent. But
I grinded this. I grinded the ring and nail for so long when I found out that it could roll with Dragonfly and Rampage, and I finally got one with caliber high caliber rounds and stability masterwork. Fuck, I grinded the shit out of it, and I didn't get to play with it very long because they ended up sunsetting it afterwards. It's god damn it. I keep thinking, I guess a lot of people too, they are hoping that maybe Bungie would reset excuse me, they will turn the sunsetting off and just completely forget it. But we've already seen that that's not how it works.
That's
You
not
have
how
to
it's gonna
regrind
happen,
those
you know?
weapons. Like those very weapons that were sunsetted, but now you can obtain them again. Like
Yeah,
the
you
Dream
can get
City
new
weapons.
ones. Yeah,
The
like
Dream
you
City
have to
weapons, but you have to
regrind
regrind
all
them.
those weapons.
Yeah, so there's no
And
point in keeping them unless that they
there's
have like some sentimental value to you.
and now we've opened up a whole nother can of worms. There's gonna be people out there that are gonna be like, well, everything holds sentimental value that I have in my vault.
Well,
I gotta hop out of here though. I have some company over at my house. It was good chatting with you.
oh hell
Um,
yeah.
Hate to leave on such short notice, but you have a good night, man.
Yeah, and thank you for joining me. And
Yep.
I'll be having another stream tomorrow night if you want to hop in.
I work tomorrow evening, but we'll see what time you start it and, you know, if I'm off or anything. But have a good night, man.
All right, you too, brother.
Later.
Later. If you're new around here, this is how it all works. I do apologize if I sound like shit right now, but I was sick all weekend. That was no fun. So anyways, we talked about the bow should one-shot topic, and then we really went on the whole topic for vault space. And he is right. I need to sit down and go through my vault, clear out all the unneeded riffraff that I don't need in that space anymore. So, especially in preparation of Witch Queen. So, I hope you enjoyed your time here. If you made it this far into the stream or in the broadcast afterwards, and but I think I'm going to head and call it a night. And like I said, I will be streaming every night, Monday through Friday. It's gonna be rough, but I think we can make it happen. So until I see you again,